all. This is the Minnesota proposed theme for the 2027 Specialized World Expo. Distinguished guests and excellence, my name is Khadija Ali. I'm a founder and CEO of Global Language Connections, which provides cultural and language services for over 200 languages across the United States and 5 continents. I'm an entrepreneur, a wife, a mother of 2, Somali American. I'm a testament to why Minnesota is the place to host the World Expo 2027. It's my great pleasure that I welcome you all on behalf of our U.S. State Department, our Minnesota U.S. BID Committee, and the entire Minnesota Africa United Consortium to celebrate a night of global cultures and connections. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude for your support and hope you enjoy cultural-centered hospitality we have in store for you tonight. At this time, I do like to ask my colleague to join me on this stage and my co-host for tonight. And while Abu is joining me, I would like to actually ask for a show of hands for all the ambassadors in the room. And how about everyone from South America? How about Europe? How about Asia? As you can see, we have guests from across all over the world. I'm now going to turn, Africa. How could I forget? This night is about celebration, and it's being hosted by the African United in particular. I am also from Africa myself, but I'm representing the United States. I'm from Minnesota right now. So my colleague here is going to take over and speak French.
Chers distingués invités, mesdames et messieurs, bonsoir. Nous sommes très heureux de vous voir parmi nous ce soir. Merci d'avoir répondu favorablement à notre invitation. Mon nom c'est Ibo Chouakisongo. Je suis directeur des opérations et sécurité à l'Université de Northern et elle est située au Minnesota. Je suis aussi membre du conseil d'administration de Minnesota African United. Pour une fois de plus, soyez les bienvenus et nous vous souhaitons une très belle soirée.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming on a Friday night. Talk about commitment. We really appreciate you being here, and we appreciate all the folks that came earlier and visited us. We know this is a busy week ahead for everything in what we like to call Expo land. So are you enjoying yourself, connecting with each other, learning a little bit more? I'm Wendy Mealy. I'm the CEO of the World's Fair Bid Committee Educational Fund, and you see that on the bottom. I'm also on the Expo 2027 Bid Committee. I've been on it since 2014, so I was in the round when we tried for 2023, and we weren't ready then, but we are ready now. As you've heard, we're Expo ready, right? On behalf of the Bid Committee, the World's Fair Fund, we will be sharing with you a message from our Governor, Tim Walz, yet tonight. And as many of you already know, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken last night, in concert with our Bid Committee, supported by Minnesota Africans United, one of our other groups here tonight, hosted a reception last night at Blair House, right across from the White House, in case you don't know, to demonstrate their support of Expo 2027. We are a fully committed country. We know you've been visited by our U.S. State Department partners, and you've heard our Expo Ready message. So allow me to simply echo that. We're not going to go into a lot of program tonight. We're here to help you see the diversity that exists in America. It's an exciting time in America, and we'd love to bring the world together to focus on healthy people, healthy planet. We know you all have stories to address that health and well-being message for everyone, and that many of you actually actively include the SDGs, and specifically SDG 3, already in the types of programs that you do in your countries and the types of program that our organizations and our government are interested in showcasing at Expo 2027. So thanks everybody for coming, where you've got some fun dancers and some music for you while you enjoy a meal, and appreciate you coming. Thank you.
So we'll be serving dinner while we're, enjoying and eating our dinners. We want you guys to network and watch some beautiful dance.
Yes, so we do have one particular African group called BDC, Ballet de la Diaspora Camerounaise, which will be entertaining us tonight. They will be coming in about maybe 10 minutes, but before they come on stage, we're going to listen to some music while dinner is being served. So thank you.
Hello everyone, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz here. Minnesotans who trace their roots to Africa are an integral part of our state's past, present, and future. We're grateful for the rich contributions to our state and our economy. On top of that, these Minnesotans, including several who are here tonight, are among the most engaged in support for our Expo bid. From coordinating trade missions to welcoming delegations, Basile and his team are connecting our state directly with the continent of Africa. They're also helping to show the world that Minnesota is ready to host the Expo on Healthy People, Healthy Planet. In Minnesota, the heartland of America, people and businesses come together from around the world to create solutions. On behalf of the people of Minnesota, thank you for your time this evening. I hope we have your support in the vote, and I look forward to joining you in Bloomington, Minnesota in 2027 to celebrate the Expo. Thank you.
you very much for the good energy you brought.
Thank you.
To introduce our group. So we are Diaspora Cameroonais. You can come and the information.
Wow. This dance was so energizing. Are you guys pumped and energized? Yeah, you ready to dance? Now we're gonna make you all dance, okay? Next. We have dessert being served, but in the meantime, we want you guys to continue to connect. But again, thank you for joining us tonight, and please continue to enjoy the hospitality as you have learned from our federal government partners and our efforts in meeting with many of you individually and our event tonight. The Minnesota in the United States is Expo ready and eager to provide a hub to establish connection, promote ideas and progress towards collaboration and solution for all the challenges we all face collectively. To create healthy planet and healthy people. We look forward to seeing you. Please vote for Minnesota 2027 World Expo. Thank you again so much for joining us tonight.
Just to conclude, I would like to thank everyone for coming tonight. What a crowd. We thank you for your presence tonight. And we thank our musician who put on a great show on behalf of our organization. Thank you so much. Allow us to personally invite you to vote for Minnesota US Expo 2027, being on June 21st at 102nd Annual BIE General Assembly. Please, please, please. This is the representation of Minnesota, what you just saw. As everyone has spoken about the power of diversity and what a great state and what we have to offer as far as trade at the global stage. And the cultural piece that you just saw, all these components, you'll be able to see those in Minnesota. So please, on June 21st, remember, if you hold a clicker, vote for Minnesota. So thank you so much. Remember to connect and enjoy your evening. Merci beaucoup. Nous sommes, c'est la conclusion de notre soirée. Merci pour votre présence et bonne soirée.
All right, so today we had an opportunity to meet with Francis Patrick Kulagula, who is Conseil Économique from Central Africa Republic. Great meeting. And we were going over just his take on last night's show. We wanted to know what people felt in the room, and since it was one of the guests, we wanted to get his feel about the show last night. And his vote, he told us. He was sitting next to an ambassador from Cameroon, and he wanted to understand what were the meaning of the songs that the dancers and the group that performed last night were actually saying. And the meaning of the song is very impactful because most of the songs were talking about unity. And of course, our event was also about unity. And it was about just the cultural unity in Cameroon. Now, because of what's happening in Cameroon, you have one side that is French speaking, the other side is English speaking. And in the song, it was meant to bring those two groups together. And that was pretty much what we were trying to do last night. We're trying to bring all the African countries together so that they can see the opportunity that Minnesota has to offer through the Expo. So it was, and I also talked about the man-made story. So pretty much it was this song with stories. And part of that story, one of that story is what they believe about man-made. And it was very well demonstrated during the dance. So you can see when you watch the little clip, the videos, you can see all that in the video. So I can't wait for you to watch the video because you'll be able to exactly see what I'm talking about. So thank you for watching the video.
Minnesota is actually ready to help and assist the African countries that are unable to take part in the Expo, to take advantage of this opportunity and participate. You cannot participate without competing. You cannot participate without voting. We want countries that are poor, that are developing, that are growing, to take advantage of this gateway, of this pathway, which is the US Expo 2027. That is the message we have been taking along to ambassadors in Paris, to ambassadors in New York, to head of state, to foreign minister in Washington, D.C., and consular corps, wherever anybody that has relationship with every person that is a decision maker should take advantage of this US Expo and vote Minnesota. Minnesota is competing with Spain, which is in Europe, with Thailand and Serbia, which is in Asia, with Argentina, which is in Latin America. It's really an American thing competing, but we are asking the African countries to unite and come together to strengthen the relationship that was established by the current administration during the most recent U.S. African Leaders Summit to build relationship with Africa and use the African diaspora as a pathway to drive economic prosperity. This is what Minnesota Africans United believe. This is what the African diaspora believe, that the only way for prosperity, to drive entrepreneurship, to drive economic development, to drive economic growth, and advance a two-way trade and investment within United States and Africa, within Minnesota and other African countries, is making sure that we take advantage of this US Expo.
Yeah, I was saying that being asked by African Union to identify the African diaspora, really African diaspora coming together, wherever you come, South America, Caribbean, you're African American, you are an African immigrant. My work was really is still mobilizing all African together, bringing them together. I think also this expo is an opportunity to bring all around 15 million African American who are here in the US, also other African diaspora, wherever they are, to one location, Minnesota. This is a big force, right? And also, lastly, I just want to say, with this power of diaspora should inspire the African continent, all 54 countries that form African Union, to vote for Minnesota. If we have a one bloc, if African countries, they come together, they support Minnesota, deal done, you're gonna win. That's why I will take this position I have right now as a representative of diaspora in the state of Illinois to call all 54 countries to vote for you. Because voting, those African countries voting for you, they're voting for us. We're voting together. We need the bloc, togetherness. We need to be together. Why would you going to vote for Europe, Asia? What's your interest? Because everything is about what is for me. What is my business interest? What is my personal interest? So I think we and diaspora here, being behind your project, African nations should back up. We are a part of African Union, we're part of our African continent. That's why I'm calling all 55 countries to vote for Minnesota for this World Expo 2027.
Another thing that is amazing about how the team is going about organizing the fair and building up the theme is that the diversity and inclusion pieces of it are a fundamental component of it. It's at the heart. A long time ago I heard that the difference between diversity and inclusion is that diversity is to be invited to the party and inclusion is being asked to dance. And how this team is approaching countries around the world that are different culturally, ethnically, in terms of their standards of living, and they're asking them to participate in the US Expo 2027. They're inviting them to dance in the US Expo 2027. There's going to be these programs that are going to be implemented in those countries related to health and wellness. So those countries will come back and share with the rest of the world what we achieved in collaboration. That to me is the very definition of diversity, of inclusion, of bringing the world together to help each other out. And the beauty of this is it's a two-way collaboration, right? The Expo team is learning tremendous amount of things from these countries, and besides the obvious international diversity, there's diversity within the organization. The Minneapolis is a very diverse state that has representatives from many cultures, from many ethnicities, from many ways of life, from many religions, and it's surprising to see how the cities in Minnesota are truly working to be that new America, that new reality. And that is to say that diversity that is going to be weaved into the very fabric of the Expo is what will make this the truly next American World's Fair.
Hey, Wendy Meadley here with
Ibuchuk Sogo.
And thank goodness Ibu was with us tonight as we celebrated our cultural celebration because he speaks French and we're in Paris. Paris.
Yeah,
right?
Paris.
Okay, so we had a really fun night with the folks that were here, and I think what was really fun about it was we had a dance group that was just out of this world.
Yep.
Right?
Very energetic. The energy was just great. You should have seen people in the room. I think a lot of people could relate to the cultural celebration, and I think that brought a lot of energy in the room.
Yeah, and so when they said they were going to do two different segments that were 10 minutes each, what I didn't realize was they within those segments it was like watching stories, right?
Yep.
And I think that goes to tonight we were really celebrating African culture in our show.
Most definitely.
In general, we celebrated everybody's culture and the diversity that you can experience in Minnesota and in America.
Yeah.
But what was interesting about this particular thing was without language, without words, you saw stories, and as I've come to work more with MAU and the team, what I've really learned is the African way is through a story.
It is.
Right?
It is a story, and it's being told. It can be told in so many different ways, and one of them is actually through performance, like what we saw tonight, through songs, through performances, and you get to relate to that from just being a human. You can relate to that story as well.
Yeah, and so if you had to characterize what you saw in the dance and remind everybody where you're from, what your mother country is.
Originally, I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Okay.
Been in Minnesota for about 20 years now, but Congo is still home.
Yeah. You have two homes now.
Yeah, I have two
right?
homes, correct.
Much like most of the diaspora folks.
Yes.
And so, touch on that just for a minute with us. What does it really mean to be part of the African diaspora in the United States? What is that? I've learned that there's a whole culture around that, and maybe some people don't really know that yet.
Yes.
How about that?
So, what you do, you still have your cultural piece that you still carry along with, but at the same time you've come to integrate yourself in the American society, and America becomes to be a second home because not only they've adopted you, but you also have adopted the culture, and by the same time you being reminded of where you come from through food, through cultural celebrations like what we had today.
Yeah.
And that's very important because it gives you a sense of who you are, a sense of identity.
Yeah. And there's more than 50 countries in Africa, and I'm not sure everybody knows that, but there's quite a range of different folks, languages, cultures, etc. Whether they're francophonie.
Yeah, francophonie.
Right?
Yeah.
or more through the British realm or Portuguese or whatever. So when you watched the dance tonight, what influences did you see?
I think this is where more of a folk type of cultural exhibit that we saw today.
Yep.
It's pure Cameroonian culture, I think.
Yes.
I didn't see so much of a lot of maybe French or English.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, it was really, really African rooted.
Yeah.
Even the routine that they were performing, it was really African rooted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like these groups are kind of rare. We had a little bit of a hard time finding them, and it strikes me that that's kind of sad to that the culture and all that needs to move forward and be captured.
Yeah, and I think one thing that stood out to me looking at the composition of actually the group, not only you had Cameroonians, but you had even some individuals from India that were part of the group.
That was a little. I don't. Is that accepted? Is that?
It can be because
Sure.
they probably adopted or they want to learn more about the African culture.
Sure.
And I think it's acceptable because they want to immerse themselves into the culture, and that's great.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And no one owns a culture, right?
Correct.
It all comes
Correct.
together.
Correct.
So, thanks for the little chat and
Yep.
helping people understand a little bit more about the diaspora.
Yeah.
And gosh, thanks for all the linking arms
No.
and co-hosting tonight. You and Khadija knocked it out of the park.
Well, Khadija did an amazing job, and I can't wait to see the video because she was so amazing.
Yeah.
And thank you for all the behind the scene.
Well-
but it was amazing what you end up putting together tonight.
We got there. She's peeking in.
She is. There she is.
Yeah.
There
Oh my
she
God.
is.
Okay, this is the
We always
team.
say it's the woman behind the women, or behind the man. So I'm gonna be the woman behind the. This was an amazing
we
night.
had a great
Thank you so
night.
much.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
a great night, and thank you. You literally flew in and you stepped in within an hour. So we are so appreciative. Me and Wendy could not speak French.
We were really nervous.
It's a teamwork. It's a
And
teamwork.
Wendy, thank you for stepping up. You've done so many different things tonight. You were
yeah.
like literally from the check-in to getting on the podium to talking about the expo. It was just a brilliant and
Yeah.
beautiful night.
Well, that's what
Yes.
NGOs in America do, don't they?
Exactly.
They-
Wearing multiple hats.
You know,
Exactly.
most people in an NGO actually have kind of a regular day job they do, or, that, and then the NGO portion is their passion project. And I think people felt the passion tonight, and we got some really great feedback from folks.
Yes, we were
And-
able to see it. We were able to see it. And I mean, they literally say it takes a village, but this was the village.
Oh, we had a village behind us too, but in the rooms. I think everybody did magic.
Yes.
And here's the thing. I was reminded tonight, I watched and learned, knew more, and grew in my African heart, as some of our team would say. But the bigger thing for me tonight was that these people that were here convened for Expo are just a special kind of people in the world. They care. They want the world to come together. It matters that we're all pointed towards the biggest challenges of our time with the SDGs and that, and they love some good anecdotes. So that's how I overcame the French thing. Because I've been traveling around and I got some good Expo stories.
You did.
So
You did, and I think what
People love
like
that.
you said, these people are special people who are
They
committed
are.
to their work and want to see the world come together in a place that grows everyone and
Yeah.
showcases, whether you're the smallest country to the biggest country,
Yeah.
that showcases everyone's obviously needs and expertise and kind of share. We're so intertwined, and
We
you
are.
could see it tonight as we were talking to them how much they care about the world. So thank you.
And man, we sure hope it gets to be the USA.
Yes.
But in fairness, there are 5 really great candidates in the race. And so We're partial. We're partial, but it's been a really great competition, and
It's been great learning.
Yes, it's been a great, and so whatever happens on Wednesday when the vote comes, we've done everything we can to help people see and know Minnesota and that we're Expo ready, and hopefully the universe aligns for us. But if it doesn't, thanks everybody for your support, and we'll be back.
Yes. Thank you.
We'll be back.
Yes.
That's the big word.
Yes,
We hope that we take it to Minnesota so we can go celebrate our home.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just, I don't think I've ever been so proud and talked about Minnesota the way I didn't realize the connections almost everyone in the actual room had with Minnesota.
You can go,
You know, it's
Mark Ritchie
amazing.
says that, you can go everywhere in the world and you find a friend of Minnesota.
You do. We did. And tonight, that's what we did. We found so many amazing friends.
Okay, au revoir from Paris, and give us dazzle us with some late night French. Come on, give us a little gem to really authenticate.
On a tout donné, on a travaillé très fort et nous remercions tout le monde qui a participé. Mais aujourd'hui, c'est la fin de la journée. Alors, bonne nuit et bonne soirée. Merci.
What he
Merci
said.
beaucoup. Yes.